I think, what I was talking about Conte earlier is he kind of losing his grip on things and so on. It's surely is the same for Klopp. I think come the summer, I think there might have to be difficult conversations. I don't know.
Speaking to some Liverpool supporting friends over the weekend, the conversation that they've been having for a month in the pub has basically been like Salah's contract, getting rid of Mane.
Yeah. Well, Mane going. I don't think.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah.
But that was
letting Mane go.
It was very clever from Mane, though.
Yeah. But the real sense that like, should they, have they been making the wrong moves? Also, little things that seem inconsequential at the time because of the way that Liverpool is spending, but. Think of someone like Minamino, someone like Naby Keita. Those players, they envisaged them being ready for, to use your word, a handover of sorts from that midfield at this point in time, and it just hasn't worked out.
No, and I mean they've got injuries to key players, of course. I mean,
a lot of injuries. As well.
Diaz was a great signing because he galvanises, he drives them forward really, really important. I actually think Nunez has been that as well. I know his finishing might not be up to scratch, but I think he's been, agent of chaos and all that kind of stuff people call him. But he gets you going.
Yeah.
There's stuff happening, and it needs to be a little bit more finesse, but it's there. Jota's injured.
I was going to say that. I think that's been forgotten about a little bit from perhaps from the outside. I'm sure
Van Dijk's,
but he hit the ground running for them and was such a brilliant option.
But I think this is all actually. I think we can talk about the injuries, but again, you look at that starting 11. I think it's actually not even papering over the cracks. You saw Klopp after the game. You heard his comments. I think what I was talking about Conte earlier is he kind of losing his grip on things and so on. It's surely is the same for Klopp. I think come the summer, I think there might have to be difficult conversations. I don't know. I don't think he'll ever get sacked from what he's done, unless 2-3 years we're still there.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But people have mentioned that whole 7-year thing with Klopp. The type of football they play is incredibly, intense. Heavy metal football, all that kind of stuff. They were 2 games away from one of, if not the greatest season of all time. Last season, you could say
so much longer ago,
but doesn't it just? And that is the case. It went down to the last day of the Premier League season, Champions League final. It was still a successful season, of course. They won 2 trophies for crying out loud, and getting to a final in the Champions League is no mean feat. You have all that. You have a team that have been playing this type of football for so long. It's not the same as it is at Manchester City. Manchester City have got more money, but Liverpool have spent, but City have got more money. But the type of football Guardiola plays, I know he's a very intense character as well, but it's not what it is at Liverpool. And we know Liverpool have been busting all of their guts to keep up with City. In another era, if you didn't have Man City playing this type of football, maybe it wouldn't be so. Liverpool wouldn't look so exhausted, but I just wonder if they can turn it round with Klopp at the helm.
You'd probably say that both Man City strikers and Liverpool strikers are starved of service as well, though, wouldn't you? Like the way that they played.
Trent's trying his best in terms of attacking football.
They look really isolated.
But they did. I mean, they didn't even score for crying out loud. But I just think with what is going on with Klopp, you can also see him trying to do things tactically different. Now, the case, obviously, with this game, but we've also seen it as well. The way he's been deploying Thiago Alcantara, the way that he's trying to draft in a few more players. Is Kakpo the man that they need? He was obviously a talented player, but is it kind of, we'll get him just because we can? I think with Klopp...
Like Chelsea-ish, wasn't it?
A little bit, you could argue, but I think, again, with that intensity of the football, Klopp is thinking, we can't do this right, I'll have a rethink, and it's kind of like, but that's your trick, mate. And it's a phenomenal trick. You've provided us with one of the best teams in recent years who have achieved phenomenal things. To try and teach this, well, not an old dog, but do you know what I mean, new tricks.
The people have spoken a lot about how maybe the dog is aging a little bit.
Well,
Perhaps Van Dijk and Matip aren't what they were, and Fabinho and Henderson in midfield as well. And obviously, James Milner's about 45. Like there are areas of the team that have perhaps aged out of their peaks, and I think the question is that teams inevitably have to have a transitional period after a cycle that's been really, really successful.
Ferguson was so good at that.
He was, and I mean, it's not unreasonable for Jürgen Klopp to maybe have a season like this. But all the best managers have to deal with it. So, is it the case that it's better to let Klopp sort of regenerate what he wants Liverpool to be and what we know Liverpool can be, or do they kind of have those difficult conversations and think about someone else? I mean, I don't know if there is someone better than Klopp that can come in.
Yeah, well, and that's a fair point, and I think that that's, Klopp will still be there. If he wants to still be there, he will, even if they finish like 7th or something. So next season it will be interesting. But if he can't pick it up, it will soon be quite clear to see. I mean, I don't even think. I think they need a whole overhaul of the squad because, again, Klopp needs to go back to what he does. And I don't think he can suddenly start playing a different type of football and so on. What he does, what he's brought to football has been phenomenal. He's been one of the best coaches in modern years. And what he's done at Liverpool, as I stress, has been so, so impressive. But I think it would be kind of maybe even gutting that midfield quite largely, or certainly bringing big players. I mean, quite interesting that a Spanish newspaper has claimed that Liverpool are planning to offer either a coaching or a scouting role to Jude Bellingham's father to convince, obviously, him to. Who are you scouting now? Well, one of my sons, actually.
Well, they are apparently also weighing up an offer for his brother Job.
Yeah,
Bellingham.
get them all in.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the sort of stuff you have to do when you're competing with like
Man
states.
City.
Like, fair enough. Like, why not?
Yeah.
Have you got a dog you want to bring in? Have you got any
We can
pet
get you a
or
dog.
something?
You want to? We'll get you a dog.
Exactly, yeah. My goodness. So, yeah.
Chelsea are offering more of like a bigger dog up front.
Yeah, and they're actually offering a whole pack.